and welcome back to Find Your Cellular Connection. I'm your host, Nick N. Ligate, and tonight we are trying to find a match for our friend Rotavirus over here. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, like you said, Nick, I'm here to find my cellular connection. My name is Rhoda, and I'm a Class 3 double-stranded RNA virus. I'm pretty smart, and I've been told that I have a genome size of 15,000 base pairs, and I'm 85 nanometers in diameter. Oops. Since apparently that matters to cells. I'm a little complicated. I've got 3 layers to me, and I've never really opened up to anyone, so I'm really looking for a cell that gets me. I want a strong connection and a place to call home to replicate myself. I'm hoping I can find that cell today.
And with that, let's begin our dating show.
As a hopeless romantic myself, once I get attached, I attach. My first question concerns how compatible me and my mystery cell would here. I'm attracted to cells with sialic acids and integrins, so what kind of receptors do you cells have?
I'm goblet cell from the upper respiratory tract, but you can call me Rest. I have sialic acids and integrin alpha 2, beta 1, so I think we would get along just fine.
Ooh, I think you and I would definitely connect. My name is enterocyte and I am from the intestines, but you can call me GI. I too have sialic acid and integrin alpha 2, beta 1, so you and I would definitely attach.
Something about sialic acids and integrins just causes this conformational change in me. My VP4 gets cleaved, and my VP7 just needs to interact with that cell surface. In fact, that's normally how my outer layer slips off at the door, and I slip inside your house as a double-layered particle, starting to peel back my shells. Anyways, that's great, but that doesn't help me decide between you two.
Exactly.
Well, let's get the ball rolling with more questions then. As you peel back your first layer, Rhoda, what do your next 2 shells want to know?
My next layer is a really special one. Everyone calls it ISVP. Not everyone likes that particular shell of mine, so how would you react to some conflict?
Well, I don't know. I don't do too well with disruption. I probably wouldn't react too kindly.
Personally, my endosomes tend to relent to disruption, so if your ISVP was disruptive, you'd be released into my cytosol before you could get into trouble with my lysosome. Whether or not that's good, you can decide.
Interesting. Well, if you can get past my ISVP, then you'll really get to know the core of my being. Once you peel back my outer 2 layers, you'll find that I'm no longer inhibited by those structural proteins of mine. My viral RNA polymerase is free, and I can truly express myself. One of my double-stranded RNA segments is used as a template to create a positive single-strand RNA, but what I really need to know from the cell is how you'll help me express myself. What would you go about doing so?
Well, I mean, if you too had a 5' cap and a 3' poly A tail just like me, of course I would help you express yourself, but otherwise, I don't know.
Well, I don't really have a 3' poly A tail, and I sorta have a 5' cap, but I'm not totally aligned within you. What about you, GI?
Well, I would love to adapt in order to help you express yourself in any way. Can you tell me more about how you regulate your expression of your early and late self?
Thank you for asking that. Actually, I tend to express some mRNAs faster than others. Some of my mRNAs will be produced steadily throughout the infection, and some aren't produced quickly until very later on, while others accumulate at the beginning of the infection and are maintained throughout the very end. The majority of my mRNAs only have 1 open reading frame, except for my 11th segment, which is more complex and contains 2 open reading frames. When the ribosomes are not scanning at the top of their game, their first initiation codon for NSP5 is sometimes missed, and NSP6 sneaks in and is translated at the second initiation codon. However, that doesn't tend to happen too often, and although my viral mRNAs are present in equal molar amounts, translation regulation affects the levels of each protein actually expressed. The Kozak rule favors different translation initiation sequences, and the differences in expression are partially due to the binding affinity.
Rhoda, it's a rotavirus.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got caught up thinking. Anyways, once I'm no longer inhibited by those structural proteins of mine, my viral RNA polymerase is free to run rampant. I'm going to want to replicate, so I'm looking for a cell that is on the same page with me there.
See, I'm not really looking for a bunch of little viruses to look after.
Personally, it's something I've considered if I found the right virus for me.
Oh, gee, I'm really happy to hear that. I actually one day dream of that my double-stranded RNA is consecutively converted to single-stranded RNA that's positive sense within me and then encapsulated inside a little variant. where then the NSP3 recognizes the 3' consensus sequence of the positive strand, and VP1 RNA polymerase uses it to synthesize its matching negative strand. And VP3 then caps the 5' end, so I'll have my own little baby virion with 11 little segments of my genome that will mature in your ER. I can just see it now. When my VP7 helps those little baby virions bud away from your ER, forming and shedding their transient envelopes. Actually, do you cells know how baby rotavirus virions are made? I want to make sure any cell I connect with is properly educated.
Well, I believe most virions first replicate their genomes and then assemble their capsid. I assume this would be the case for you as well?
Actually, I believe rota is different. Rotavirions replicate their genome while assembly occurs, and the second strand of RNA is not synthesized until the virion has reached maturity.
Wow, GI, that was actually really spot on. Assembly will only occur within the VP1 polymerase present, and then the double-laid particle translocates in your ER with this transient envelope and NSP4. Once entry into the ER occurs and VP4 and VP7 form the outer layer, the new virion is transported and released via plasma membrane lysis.
Oh, lysis? Ouch. Yeah, I don't really think I want to have virions myself.
And now for our final segment of Find Your Cellular Connection. The tables turn and our cell contestants get to ask the virus one question each. Russ, what is your question?
Well, I want to know how focused rota would be on me. Are you going to be transmitted to everyone in my life?
Well, actually, I'm transmitted fecal orally. I want to be really upfront with that. I'm charismatic, and young children and the elderly find me especially infectious. However, those that have been vaccinated with Rotatech or Rotarix are less susceptible to my charm. Some seem immune, and some are just not affected by me.
Good to know, thanks.
And what is your question, GI?
Well, what I want to know is what patterns I can expect to see during infection. I know there will be bad things along with the good, and I just want to be prepared.
Well, about 2 days after infection, you can definitely expect gastrointestinal distress like diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and pain that can last 3 to 8 days. Severe dehydration is common because my NSP4 protein acts as a toxin and that causes fluid secretion, but if you treat me with osmotically balanced saline glucose solution, you can counteract the loss of fluids and we'll all be okay.
And with that, it's time for a rotavirus to choose its cell.
It's been really good to get to know both of you, but given all the answers that I've received and my responses and how the tone of everything, I really think I'll best connect with the GI.
And that's it for our show. Don't forget to check back in next week when we follow up with rotavirus and GI to see how their first cellular connection went.